Welcome to the Secret Stash Podcast. I'm your host, Kylina Falzone. Today's guest is Fara Tolno, an inspirational drum and dance instructor from Guinea, West Africa. Join us to hear his journey to the United States, his ties to Crested, Butte, and all of his projects back in Africa. Awesome. So welcome, Fara, to Crested, Butte. We're so happy to have you here today.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here.
I'd love to hear a little bit about your story.
Yeah. Yes. I don't even know where to begin. My story, my name is Gabriel Fara Tolno. I am from Guinea, West Africa. And I come from the noble family of Guinea, West Africa, or another word of noble family of Manding Empire. So my family ran away from the war to go stay in the place called Kissidugu. So this whole thing about that. So when we ran away from the war, before the Manding Empire again, before people know today what we call Mali, that used to be the Soso Empire during the medieval time. So my family came in to change that whole tide to make it as Manding Empire for us to come together. So when the war happened, one of my family went away to go stay in a safe place so he can gain more power to come and help his people. So that's where Kissidugu come in. That's one of my background. But I come from a noble family of 7, 6 brothers and 1 girl.
Wow.
So we're all boys. My sister passed away, one of my brothers passed away. Now it's only 5 of us left. So I'm the middle child of that family. During my time in Guinea, in West Africa, we have a caste system in Guinea, which is each family where you come from, you do your family duties. As my family was noble family, I was supposed to go to school and follow what my family duty was to the community. So I decided to let all that go to start playing drum, because I felt like I was already hierarchy. I'm here, people's like playing for me. Every time I wanted to play, my dad's like, no, that's not your job. No, you cannot do that. No, you cannot do that. You're supposed to go to school and study. I did. I went to school and studied, but at the same time I saw these people that was trying to play this, that were trying to bring people together, that was trying to bring people together in terms of music and culture and dancing, and they're happy in their body. I was like, I want to do that. Maybe I want to be able to learn that, how to bring people together that way, instead of going to school to learn about the educations.
And
yes.
how was your family when you made that decision to change into music and inspiring people that way? How does your family feel about that now?
At the beginning, my family was not happy about it. But my first travel, I went to Ivory Coast. This was in 1994, 93, 94. That was my first trip to Ivory Coast. But by then, before that happened, my father was the leader of our village and to bring people together. But when they saw me I was drumming, they decided not to have my father as a leader, because that's not the family chores. So all the family left. I was like, okay, fine, Papa, don't worry. We're going to make something happen, even though they let you go. So I'm going to try to do these things.
So he lost his ranking in the village.
Lost ranking in the village. Yeah.
That's pretty intense.
Mm-hmm. As he lost his ranks in the village, then everything how do I say this in good English? Everything was put on me as a kid, because 2 of my brothers was not in the city. So my father lost his ranking, and I was trying to call my brothers to come from the village to come and help us so the family can survive. They were like, no, my father put them into good school where in the village, so they're gonna stay in the school there. I was like, fine, I need to find a way. So I started, because my mom, it was only boys, so I started working with my mom. She was teaching me how to, do business, sell stuff. At the same time, she was teaching me how to bring people together in the market. So this is how the business idea that I have right now actually got it from my mom.
So were you playing music in the markets? At what age was this?
This was 9 years old.
8 or 9. So
Yeah.
so you saw the power of playing music and bringing a community together.
And bringing a community together, yeah.
Awesome. So great.
And this was one of my ways to connect with the community. And this is one of my ways also to really show my family that let my father down, like he's not down yet. You guys haven't seen what he can be, what's possible and what is capable. Because I felt like this was a vehicle actually that can really touch people, not just in terms of education, but a lot of people that did not have education, but also wanted to have educations. That's why I went this route. I still went to school, finished my college in Guinea. I was same time I was paying for my college because my father, lost his ranking. My mother's in the market all the time. I have to help her, so I have to go do the marketing, and then go to the school. After school, go sell stuff so I can pay for my school.
So this is definitely a point of why I'm even doing this podcast is because, people like Fara, when all odds are against you and you believe in like what you're doing, then I just really believe that the universe pushes you in that way to like find your true passion. And even I'm sure you were scared.
Yep.
Your brothers weren't coming to help you.
Yep.
All the pressure was on your shoulders.
Yep.
I think that's what you were trying to say. And there was no it not happening. You were gonna do it. You set your mind to it.
Yep.
And now all these amazing things have happened since
Yep.
then for you. And so like following your true passion is something that everybody out there really should be trying to do, and don't be scared. And even when there's hierarchy in your family and stuff that like is even way bigger than in the United States, these are different cultures are dealing with stuff like this. So
Yep.
just to show you that your true passion can get you
Moving on, as I learned everything from my mom, teaching me how to become connect with the world, teaching me the way of the business. So I decided to fully stop going to school to focus on the art. Just give my heart and everything to it. And I was never dreaming actually to come to America, to the West. My dream was to have a company in Guinea so I can be able to have ends meet and eat food. That was all of my dream. Because I know that if I can play really well, I can play with some of the famous people in Guinea, and I can be able to have like a company, have gigs, here and there, then life is good. But it took me more than that. When I got good, so people from the national company start seeing what I do. And people from the famous people who sing in Guinea start seeing what I do. They start inviting me to play with them. And then my teacher that have impacted many people around the world of this music that we know today, around the world, African music. His name is Kemeko Sano. I just want to mention a little bit, kind of like going off subject, but because of him, I am here today. Because of him, a lot of the African music that we know today in the world is being distributed all throughout the world. Because the national company of Guinea, that's called the Ballet African, started in 1940 in Europe, from a student abroad that went to study in Europe, European educations and also European idea of doing music. So he saw a classical ballet on stage. It's like, wow, that's amazing. We can do that culturally. So from that, this guy's name is Keita Fodeba. From that, because he was a student of my teacher, he brought this whole African ballet together, African people that live abroad, to actually portray African culture on stage. So that's what we know today, like the ballet African and the different culture doing African dance on stage is so popular because that's the roots of it. From that, and then it just spread all over the world. So my teacher saw me as a good drummer. It's like, oh, I think I need you in my company. Okay, so I got involved with the company. For many years, I was just playing like a low drum for many years because it was people there that was like way better than me. So because I put my heart into it so hard, and so I got my opportunity when these people came to America in 1995. That was my opportunity to step up to become a lead. I was like, yes. So from that, and then from that, this is a different story.
How did it make you feel from like, playing in the market with your mom to being on stage, and like, do you remember that first time like you walked out and was like, whoa, I'm playing in front of all these people now, and how did that make you feel?
Oh, my mom loved it. My father did not like it.
He still wasn't there yet.
Oh no, he did not like it. He was still, man, like my culture, you're not supposed to do this. You're supposed to go to school. This is how you do it. He did not like it. Even sometimes my father came when I was drumming in the market, broke my drums, literally, because he did not like what I was doing. He wanted me to just focus on school and education. And I even told him, I was like, I will focus on school and education. Think of it. As I came here, staying here for a while, to try to make my father proud, I decided to go to school to even get my master's. Right after I finished getting my master's, I called my father. I was like, oh, I got my master's. I'm so excited. I got education. He's like, okay, no problem. Send me money. I'm going to buy a cow. So I sent him money to buy a cow. The next day, my father went in a coma. That was the end of the story.
He had passed then.
He passed then.
But he knew that you mastered your education.
Yes, and then he was happy.
He wanted to know that, yeah.
That was okay, yeah. He wanted to know that was okay. Then he felt like he was good. He did his part. Then he passed away.
Wow, that's a crazy story. So, guys out there, if you want to know what passion looks like, that's it. Especially when your father, like the guy that you look up to so much, who's like raised you, and you know you're defying the culture of the village by not doing what your dad wanted, and like having your father break your drums. I mean, how did that make you feel? Did you ever want to give up, or were you like, I'm not giving up. I'm going to keep doing it?
It was hurtful. It actually gave me more courage to do it more.
It gave you more fire.
It gave me more fire to do it. Even when he did that, I even ran away. I was like, okay, you did that, bye. I don't wait for my people for 2 years, literally. Nobody saw me for 2 years, and I was taking care of myself. I was, selling. I would get can, like when the canned juice, like Coke juice, Coke can, and in Africa, people would throw it, you take it and clean it really well and give it to the market. They would buy it. So that's how I used to make my money, buy my books, buy my shoes.
And how much money a day were you making?
Oh my God!
During that time,
not even 10 cents. Jesus, if I think of the money, not even 10 cents.
Yeah. So guys, follow your passions. Don't give up. Keep going. I think he's a true example of somebody that and then overcoming just the barriers of getting to the United States and moving from the small village into bigger cities. Amazing story. Love it. So then you got your master's
in fine art. Yes, that was amazing.
And how does your mom feel about that?
Oh,
these days?
she's so happy. She was so happy, and she trusts. The mom loved the kids. Yeah, the mom's always like, you always like that.
You're always the baby.
That was the baby for So whatever I do, my mom liked it. And even me graduating, she was so happy and so proud. I was the first, actually, I want to say this is really important in America, first African guy that came here as a drum and dancer that got his master's the first time. So everybody else actually now following the same thing.
Great.
A lot of my people, the friend that we know today, following the same lineage.
Now you're inspiring other people below you, which is I think the big meaning of life.
Yep.
Is inspiring people and bringing. We all rise by lifting others.
Yes.
Another one of the quotes I love.
Yep.
And I think that's really important. Okay. After all of that, then how did you make the connection to Crested, Butte, Colorado?
Ooh.
In the middle of nowhere.
In the middle of nowhere. Colorado was one of the places that I knew from a friend or a student that have studied from me 20 years ago. They went to Guinea because of my teacher. My teacher was doing a tour in America. So this student came and studied from my teacher when he was in Washington, D.C., in Oakland. He was doing a tour of the Ballets African. So from that, they decided to go to Guinea to study from my teacher. As they went there, my teacher's like, oh, yeah, well, you have a lot of students to study from. It's like, you started with this guy. So these people was Bruce and Jen. There was good, closer friend of mine. That's kind of like my son's godfather. And that was the first one actually bought my passport for me to come to America. They was gonna bring me first to Colorado. My first contact to America was coming to Colorado, right? So it did not happen. We went to tour for 1 year. So after the tour, we got the gig to come to America, work with a jazz company in New York City that's called the Vanguard Jazz Orchestra in New York, which was the military jazz that worked with the military.
Wow.
So we did the 6-month tour with them. Right after that, I was like, I'm going to Colorado. I got to go see my friends. And then I have all their numbers, all their contact, and then I just call. I was like, I am coming to Colorado. At the time, they live in Pecosa Spring. Pecosa Spring and Durango was closer to each other. So before I came to Colorado, we had a gig in Disney World for 1 year. So they're like, okay, do your gig. After the gig, you come to Colorado. So right after 1 year, I moved to Colorado. In the end of the 1999, 2000, that was when Columbine happened here in Colorado. You guys remember that time? So people was like, you crazy, you going to Colorado? I said, I'm going to go see my friend because it's a beautiful day. I have to go. That's my connection to I mean, in other words, my connection to Crested, because I was in Durango, Colorado. People know me in Colorado. Then I started going to different states, or cities.
Cities, yep.
Cities doing, classes, workshop here and there, and coming to Crested. It was Mark and Heather here at that time doing African dance in Crested. They used to come take classes in Durango from me back in the day in 2000, 2001, 2003. So that was my connection to Crested.
Let's talk a little bit about your foundation and what you're doing in Guinea, which is I'm very interested in. That you're building a school out there.
Yep.
And tell me a little bit about the foundation and what you've set up.
The aim is the aim of the foundation is to actually bring the culture back to where it comes from, because one thing that we have happening in Guinea is a cultural drain. A lot of the teachers that's in Guinea that get really good would decide to leave the country so they can make ends meet for their family, right? So the new generation that's coming up, they're amazing and fast and so smart, but they're on the roots of the culture. They're just mixing all over the place. So we wanted to be able to bring the culture back to Guinea that have impact the world at large to the new generation, also teaching them without learning about their culture, but also without losing the education of the world. That's the aim of the Kissidugu Foundations, is to bring it back to the new generations.
And what process are you in of building the school currently?
We are in the process of building restaurant right now. Before we bring the sorry, my English.
That's okay. We'll cut it. Deep breath. That's okay. We can cut all this out. So
okay,
don't worry. Yeah, don't worry. You can get your thoughts together.
Okay.
Deep breath. Poor Fara, he's been going nuts.
Breathe.
Yeah. Oh,
breathe,
I know.
Breathe. Okay.
He's like me.
I know, you guys are all really
Non-stop.
I really we thought to build a school in Guinea it's not going to be good to build a school in Guinea if you don't feed the people that's on the ground, especially the new generation. If you don't make their body healthy, if you don't bring clean water, medicine, and helping the family out that don't have money to put their kid to school. So help them to help their family. So we did build a pharmacy, residency home, kitchen building, dance building. So now we're in the process of building the actual school.
And what is the cost of building a school with the restaurant and all that?
What's the cost?
How much does it cost? Well, how much is it going to cost to complete the project?
To complete the project. I mean, so I would say how much? It's got $100,000. I would say
$100,000. So that's where I come in. I'm very interested in the kitchen portion of the school, and I'm very into health and well-being, clean diet, juices, vegetables, healthy foods. So I want to try to raise some money for the kitchen portion of the school. So I'm going to be asking all of you guys for some help with that, and just knowing that you're providing the nutrition, because you need that first. If the nutrition isn't there, then they can't focus, they can't concentrate, and then they can't put all their energy into the school. So I want to definitely help with that. We have some really cool photos and videos, and we'll have some links in the show notes on how you can donate to the school there. And we'll have some photos I saw the videos of what Fada's doing there. I'm super impressed. It's super professional, and I want to be part of that. So I'm very excited to help raise some money in that aspect.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so that's great. I'm very excited about promoting building the school in Guinea, West Africa. And then, so going from all the way over to Africa into Crested Butte. And Angie, how do you play a role in all this and connecting that to here in our local community?
Well, so I've lived in Crested Butte for a long time. I worked in education. I started studying. When I found African music and dance, it was like, oh my God, this is everything I've been looking for. And so then, we've been bringing Fara to teach and other artists in to teach in Crested Butte for over 20 years. And then I started studying more intensively, would travel to go to camps to study, do these things. I ended up traveling to Guinea and Senegal to really study the music and dance. And when I was there, I also worked with preschool through high school ages of educators, and realized how many flaws are in the systems and how unsustainable it is and how broken it was. And as a teacher, it was huge for me to see these teachers that really wanted to teach and didn't have any resources, often wouldn't get paid because the government's so corrupt, so they would have to go do other jobs to keep their families alive when they wanted to teach. And literally kids coming and drawing in the dirt and teaching each other because they want to learn. So after I had traveled and studied, I knew coming back into the States, I really wanted to go deeper into studying the music and the dance, and also to link in with the education. And then, funny enough, I literally came back and came around to this dance camp that used to happen every year down in the desert in New Mexico, and had someone hand me a flyer. And the flyer said, Fara Tolno is looking for people to come intensively study music and dance and help him to build a school in Guinea. And I was like, oh, well, there's what I'm going to do next, And so Fara and I had already known each other for years here, but I moved away from Crested Butte up to Boulder, studied in his company for 8 years, and Fara and I started the Kissidugu nonprofit. We worked really hard at that time when he was going through school, which was an amazing process to see too, watching him, be in this education system and doing homework and translating through 4 different languages sometimes to write his papers, where he's talking in Susu, thinking in French, trying to write in English. And it was just an incredible process, because Fara is one of those people, and I am too, that we're doers and we want to make change in the world and do positive things. And Fara is definitely a person that if you tell him he can't do something, he's going to come back and do it tenfold from what you told him he couldn't do. So, so we partnered up and started the nonprofit and got all the things going. We also really worked hard on doing curriculum and programming in the United States. And so we would work, from elementary through universities, and we also ran this huge annual conference that became we had international students coming, where we would bring artists from all over Africa and the African diaspora, and would teach workshops, and we would plug in social justice workshops and racial dialogues as needed. We really addressed what was happening in the United States and bringing this culture and sharing it with different people and all the different things that got brought up. And so we started building that education and writing curriculum and stuff together. And then I had my kiddo, so I kind of stepped out to be a mom for some years and moved back to Crested Butte so I could raise my son here. But Fara and I have always stayed really connected. And so as soon as I moved back here, I just started building programming here like we were doing before. And so it started small, where we got people interested, and he would come do an assembly for the school, and then he'd come teach a couple classes, and then he did a residency workshop with the faculty, and then up until today, where we, and this was always one of our dreams in starting the nonprofit, we had him in the school for I know. I get so passionate. I always get emotional when I'm passionate.
I love this, and this is what true passion looks like, and these are the types of characteristics you have to make shit happen.
Yeah, it's true. I know. You're teared up. You're making me tear up. I love it.
No, I love it. I love that you're doing this, and I love that we have a local connection here in Crested Butte to be able to work with the Kissidugu Foundation.
Yes. Yeah, so we are so psyched because Fara came in to teach 2 weeks. He's been in the classroom every day with these kids. They did a 5-week study on Guinea. I went in and gave them a presentation, talked to them about the country, taught them a lot of things. They've been studying in their classrooms and then working with him, and they're going to end and do a little performance with him. I also, I got to clean myself up. We can edit. We're not live.
We can edit.
I know.
You can edit.
You can edit. You can edit. All the tears.
The connections are
I know. They're so powerful.
This is why I like video.
I know. It's true. So the years that I've been back here, we've just been building programming. I also went back to school. I'm getting my master's at Western right now in exercise sports science. My passion of that is because originally I wanted my thesis to be the importance of movement and brain development, because working with kids for over 20 years, I've seen a very real difference in human development. That's what I originally went to school for, was early childhood education and studying that human development. And I see how much we need to move. Also being so passionate about wellness, this degree is kind of linking things together for me. And being in the small town where I've been here a long time and people know me, I'm able to like use some of those connections, and I'm trying to shake stuff up at Western too. And so I wrote a course curriculum that's happening this semester. And so Fara's teaching at the university for 3 weeks. I'm teaching a whole spring semester course. It's called the West African Connection. And it's about connecting people to themselves, others, and their community through music, dance, and dialogue. So we're looking back and tracking history through the arts. So looking at the transatlantic slave trade and the effect on the Americas, and like flamenco and jazz and roots of hip hop and all these social dances and all these things. So we're using this as a lens to like look back through history and educate people more on like the influence of Africa on America and how that ties into our daily life, while also having this very connective experience of getting to drum and to dance and to have a resident artist there. So our hope is to just keep building programs. We also have finally got our foot in the door where the Gunnison Elementary School puts aside funding for us every year. The Crested Elementary School does. We finally got to work with the high schoolers some this year. We're in the university and we're in the community. And so our hope is to just continually build those programs so we have annual or hopefully biannual events where we're really bringing this in. We're working with all ages and all realms of education and providing opportunities, from people from 5 to 95.
Yeah, and it's, especially with the pandemic this year and like seeing what life is like without music and dance is really painful. And, I brought my daughter to Fada's class on Saturday. She's only 3, but like 3-year-olds feel the power of music and dance and connection. And I think that it's really important to keep this going in our community and globally. It seems that when things go wrong, the first things to get cut out of systems are art and music. And I think that is just detrimental to like human beings and our spirit and what these events do. I mean, I love that you're a dancer. I can't even, that's a whole nother podcast. So I think it's really important. I love that we have a local connection. What is the best way to donate to the foundation? Is it, what do you guys need? Is it, what do you guys need? What are you in need of mostly?
We need money.
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 Yeah.
I mean,
So, the best way to donate, you can donate to our website, which is the kissidugu.org.
We'll have all that in the show
and
notes.
Also PayPal. We have PayPal. We have banks. I don't know.
Yep. We'll put that in the show notes.
Okay.
But just for everyone out there, if you're considering donating to something, this is something that is amazing for our community. I'd highly recommend, taking a second to check it out. And if you can donate some money to this organization, I will be working with these guys moving forward and helping to get that school built. I'm really excited about the restaurant part.
Can't wait for you to come and cook.
That again.
Come and cook.
I'll come and cook.
And then as far as programming here, I mean, we're really looking at collaborating some with the Center for the Arts to be in that beautiful new space. So people that are interested in specific Crested Butte programming could either contact me and we can work towards getting money funneled in to support the schools, or they can make donations directly to Kissidugu programming to the Center for the Arts. So they have those funds set aside specifically. You could write your check to the Center for the Arts specifying for our programs for bringing in artists and promoting the cultural arts, and they will save that funding for us to do programming.
Yeah, and there's another way, like if you're more comfortable because you know me and you understand what I do, I have a Stash Cash fund set up with the Community Foundation. You can check out the link at the end of the show notes. You can donate right to Stash Cash, and I'll make sure that money gets right to Fada and his team. The other way, too, is if you are local and you don't have a lot of money, you can put up, we need housing to put the artists here with their families. If you guys want to donate, restaurants, if you guys are out there and you want to donate a meal to the family and to the dancers and to everybody putting these events on, there's so many other ways too. It's not just monetary, although that is what we're looking for. But there's other ways to help. And, it's little things that make it's little things that make the big things happen. And we can only do that by working together and supporting these really important causes. Sasha is really dear and close to my heart. Her significant other is my business partner, so I know Sasha really well, and I know how passionate she is. She's dedicated her whole life to dance here in our community and to Crested Butte and to our children here. So a lot of people probably don't know a lot of this stuff. That's why we're doing the show today, so that we can educate and inform everybody on what we're doing. But yeah, nobody's more passionate than these people. I mean, if you guys want to know what passion is, rewind this and watch these two. Because
I know, I'd love to speak to that connection.
Yes.
Because it really is quite odd that we are all here in Crested Butte. The reason I met Fara and Angie was when I was in school at Naropa for dance movement therapy. And I didn't finish the program. I moved to the Bay Area to dance, but I went to Fara's classes at that time and was so deeply inspired by a different way of moving, having been trained as more a modern ballet dancer in a studio setting, and then coming to West African dance and finding such a liberation in my body and a true kinetic wisdom that felt very, very ancient. Was very enlightening at that time. And I was so inspired by what they were doing. I got to see their shows. And then, I moved to the Bay, and somehow, 10 years later, Angie was in Crested Butte, and I was in Crested Butte, and my mind was blown. So, of course, I was like, how can I support all of this happening here in the Valley? I am a dance educator. I teach hip-hop, I teach jazz, I teach ballet, I teach street dance. And for me, it's very important to connect the legacy and the lineage of what Fara's doing rhythmically and in the movement dance realm to the kids nowadays. A lot, this is what they're listening to, and they have no connection to where it's coming from. So I feel very passionate about that component.
And it's the mind-body connection and how serotonin levels increase when you're moving your body. And as we get older, we need to start moving our bodies more. And I'm starting to see the connection of moving the body and increasing the good endorphins in our heads and just spreading that through our community and starting with our children. It's really important.
Oh, yeah.
It's really important
That's
to
where
start
it is.
young.
The young, yeah.
And you have a
I have a 12 years old and 21 years old.
He has a 12 and 21 year old. They're both boys?
One boy is one girl.
And where are they now?
Boys here, girls back in Guinea.
And you'll be going to see her in June.
I'm going to see her in June. I'm going to see the boy right after here. So I just talked to him yesterday.
Awesome.
So it's so beneficial to see the kids, especially I have an experience going to school in college here, and see how kids wait till they go to college to have something, to experience something like this when they're young. Because when they're young, when they experience something like this, it changes their life. It gives them new narrow pathway of thinking. It gives them new narrow pathway of connecting with people. So they don't think the world only revolves here, but they think of the world at large. But when you think of it, when we're privileged, right? I'm privileged, I'm everything. I don't have to think about anybody. I just do my study, I get my things done. But if I'm thinking in the world, my privilege, and actually what I'm doing is affecting other people, then I can think about it even more, open my narrow path to learn differently. So the kids, it's so amazing to see them because they're so smart. Their hearts are open, yeah? So this is amazing to bring to the kids right now to help them grow, to open their neural path, to open their connection, to open their influence of knowing other people that's different from them. Because we also have that influence here in America.
That's so great, Vada. I'm so excited. I'm so excited that you're here in Crested Butte. I'm so excited that I got to experience your class on Saturday. It was incredible.
So fun. Well, and it's cool, too. We've seen, like, even some of the teachers this morning were talking about watching some of their students with Fara the last 2 weeks. They see them in this whole new light where they're like, wow, I kind of thought they were just, but this is what they need, more arts. Like, I see these kids now, this is what they need to shine, which is so cool.
Especially in today's age with the technology and just being able to, like, put that down for a second, connect with the feel and the sound and move your body
the
in
real
those ways.
Yeah.
I think it's really, really important.
Well, and I think the African drum and dance, like, it's so deep, it's so old, it's so, like, movements that are in our DNA from the past, from working, from doing, like, how you should move your body, and all the cross-body movements. It's great. Like, it does do so much for your brain because, that's what's happening in your body. It's all like crossing to get up to your brain. So the more you're playing drums and you're moving in these ways that do all these cross-body movements, it really does a lot for your brain, and just for all the like realms of wellness can get hit, like your spiritual, your emotional, your social, your mental, your physical, like you get it all in one big kapow.
Yeah. And Fara, do you think that when you bring different cultures together, are the boundaries just gone when all those people come in and...
Oh, yes, the boundary is gone. I mean, when people is in their body, when people is not thinking anymore, when people feel like we are praying together. Because I think of it, dance is kind of like praying together. And I said this kind of funny, right? But God is the amazing artist in the world. We can create everything, right? So when we in that God being self and in our internal, nothing else matter. We love each other. That's the premises of the whole thing. We love each other. Despite our differences or what we think, we love each other as a human. So when we let go, then it's just love.
That seems like it's been a wonderful
yes.
path for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
The kids in Guinea, basically, they go to school in the morning. Right after the school, they go drum and dance. That's their whole day. Drum and dance. Right after drum and dance, they go sell stuff for their mom and that. So it's not really a time for them to study. That's why this whole idea of building a school is to really like make that so strongly so the kid have a foundation where they can study. And the connection here too, like when you see kids go to school here and finish the school, they have study time, they have a different game, they have different things, activity they need to go through. They have a lot of different activities they need to go through, right? So dance is kind of like something else for them. But bringing the dance to them, it helped them actually to connect to themselves, but also to connect them to their activity they do every day. Because we are teaching them not just moving, but how this movement help them with the basketball, with the football, or with the hockey. With the math, with the history and science of the skin and the drum and all that. Maybe you want to speak more about that a little bit?
Well, what's neat in the program that we're doing is we are kind of doing collaborative curriculum with our kids in Guinea and our kids in Crested Butte right now. So the kids in Crested Butte have been making books, all the stuff they've been studying. They've made all these videos and things for the kids in Guinea that Fara's going to take when he goes to Guinea. They're so excited. Like one of their favorite, they recorded themselves at Ski for PE and like building snow forts and snowmen. Like they're really excited to kind of share snow because they know that's something the kids don't have at all. Something both schools have been talking about is like comparing and contrasting our similarities and differences. Like we both have very mountainous places and forest, and there's parts of that in Guinea. Some of the daily life stuff, they've really been figuring out what's the same, what's different, and then the kids there are going to record a video to give to our kids in this classroom. So they're really like, we've connected those two classrooms, which was always like one of our passions and dreams. And we hope to build towards with the universities and stuff having like study abroad programs. And I mean, that's another way people that are interested can help. Like everyone is welcome to come to Guinea. Like we are building this place because it is a safe place. That's what Kissidugu means. And for people to come study music, dance, to come garden, to come work in the pharmacy, to come just relax on the beach, to come submerge yourself in another culture, to have another place that you or your children or whoever can go to. And at the same time, it's really making sustainable life in Guinea because of history and because of colonization and because Guinea was a country that said, no, we want to be our own country. We don't want to be French colonized.
Yep.
They got cut off from the Western world for a long time. So as rich as they are in resources and humanity and in life, they, struggle to have this more fair of an existence and to have this opportunity. And like Fara said, we talked about the other day how we have such an opportunity for external here in our country. We have so much opportunity, but we get lost sometimes on that internal. Which is where bringing this culture in, it connects you so deeply to your internal. And so when you're in Africa, you find these people so rich internally and in their community and with themselves, but they don't have those external opportunities. So the school to that we will fund this school so teachers will get paid, teachers can go teach. It is built by the people of Guinea, for the people of Guinea. The staff gets to be there, their kids get to go to school, kids get to come, and like Fara spoke to earlier, they get to actually learn the real roots and history of their culture, because the African history has always been passed down orally through songs, through music, and through these things, where even up to Fara's generation, his teacher Komoko, Fara was his lead drummer, so he taught Fara things that he didn't teach anyone else. And so Fara got in that position where he has been open to this bigger world, and he's like, this is crazy. We can't keep teaching this way, where you pass information to one person. Like, we have to keep it alive. And then I know, we've had conversations when he's gone back to visit, and how heartbroken he is to have his own people not even know what they're playing, not even know the names of the rhythms they're playing or the meanings of them. And so those are the big focuses, is to keep that like richness of the culture and the history and all this meaning alive, while also bringing in the opportunity like we have here for real education, so you can merge those two things and then be able to do anything in the world.
And then create magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Magic.
Let's
create magic. Go drum.
That's why I actually also created to be able to spread out to not only pass it down to one person, but to many people. I created an African encyclopedia rhythm that's online. That's called Rhythm Reference. Not only audio version, but also visual, like video visualization. Like you can see me teaching you from the basic, from 1 to 2 and 3. So it's an encyclopedia of West African video right now online. If you go looking for drumming that you want to learn, you will find all the information there.
Which is very unique. I've never heard of anyone else doing that.
Yeah.
Let's hear some
Drum.
beats.
Yes, it's good. All right, there we go. I'm gonna have something for you.
Well, that, folks, is called being in the zone. Right there. That's amazing. Incredible.
Yes.
Oh, my God. Thank you so much, Fara, for coming. I mean, you guys, to be here in person, you can't even feel it on the camera. I mean, that's what I said on Saturday, bringing my daughter, and being there in person is so much different than even hearing it. So if you have a chance to come out to any of these events in Crested Butte, please support Fara in his efforts and all these girls who are working tirelessly to make these dreams stay alive. It's very important. Music, we need it. We need our cultures to bond and to be together, no borders. And yes, please donate. Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, and review this podcast so that we can keep continuing to make money for these cool, awesome nonprofits and all these amazing events that we're going to be doing for however long we can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Woo! That was amazing.
So good.
I get
was amazing.
emotional.
Thank you,
I want